What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the
Variety Splotch.
I think there were a lot of reasons. I think perhaps the main reason was I can relate to him. Because he was shy, he wasn't that successful with girls, he had to worry about his family. I think most teenagers reading it thought to themselves, hey, that could be me. You know, you could be any kid. You could be black, you could be Asian, you could be Indian, you could be anything, and imagine you were in that costume. So I think that made it relevant to everybody everywhere.
Alright, so, off the bat, you and I are very biased, because Spider-Man's my favorite superhero of all time. He's your favorite superhero of all time.
More or less, yeah.
So, we are gonna have some very we're gonna try to be unbiased here. Alright, so Spider-Man's origins. Originally, Stan Lee, he wanted to make a teenage superhero who wasn't a sidekick. Which was, at the time, it didn't exist. It just wasn't a thing. And Spider-Man was his very first pitch. Originally, got rejected super hard. No one believed in Spider-Man.
They didn't want a bug. No one thought a bug would be appealing as a superhero.
That's the thing people say all the time, even to this day, is like, oh, so no spiders, why? And funny enough, just, honestly, spiders aren't even that much of a thing with him, other than, obviously, the webs and crawling on walls and his costume in general.
Some people never forgive how the only power he didn't get from a spider was the webs. That's like a spider's whole fucking thing is webs, making webs. And he got everything but webs. So many other bugs can cling to walls. So many other bugs have like a quote-unquote spider sense. Flies have more of a spider sense than spiders do.
Yeah, we'll get it more into the Raimi suit discussion, just in general, Raimi's version of the character, but he did some stuff that definitely gave Spidey more Spidey aspects.
Indeed.
But, funny enough, to Spider-Man's character, he started off as an underdog, which is gonna be a theme that's consistent throughout all of Spider-Man. The underdog who gets shit for almost everything.
Something I liked about this Spider-Man is how aggressive he is, kind of. This Spider-Man's definitely, he doesn't take as much shit as current modern Spider-Men do.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, before it seems to be getting more and more offensive to stereotype New Yorkers. I've seen videos of New Yorkers genuinely getting actually upset when you try to do a New York accent, or when you say something that, oh, New Yorkers are mean or whatever. They'll actually clock your shit. So I'm not gonna say anything, but just know, I'm thinking, this Spider-Man was very... I kind of like it, though. I like that this Spider-Man has a little bit more of a hard edge to him. His clips are less so corny and more so, like, genuinely frustrating.
Yeah.
It's like, as a villain, or even just as a person, that his quips and his one-liners and his wordplay is genuinely, like, something that for probably maybe for the time anyway, but like translating it or transposing it'd be like something a person would actually say, like a genuinely quippy person would say.
Yeah, I mean, that was I haven't read too much original Spider-Man, but that's kind of the whole thing he does, right? It's to piss off his enemies so that they fight worse. He's trying to get them off their balance.
Yeah.
So yeah, going for their feelings, effective way to do that. I like, because the original Spider-Man suit, it was a wrestler's suit, right? He wore it to try and, win money. I like how, again, this Spider-Man suit isn't too far off from Spider-Man suits now, depending on the artist, obviously, but these original elements, they're basically what Spider-Man looks like. He's what he's gonna look like for the rest of time. Like, hardly anything about this original design is gonna change other than a few nitpicky details. I like how striking it is. You know, if you line up a bunch of the older superheroes from Marvel, especially Marvel, he definitely stands out as a lot bolder. He's a lot more bold than everyone else. I like how buggy he is as well. Like, just in his posture, this is mostly an art thing, you know, how the artist drew him, you know, Steve Ditko. I like how scrawny he is. He looks more buggish. He's always hitting more, like, hunched over poses. It makes him look more predatory. It's so interesting.
I think Spider-Man was originally described by civilians or just like spectators as creepy, right?
Yeah.
Or like his movements or whatever were creepy. That doesn't really translate as much into modern Spider-Man. He does creepy, objectively weird poses, but no one ever really comments on it these days.
Yeah.
It's just kind of normal. Back then, I feel like there was a lot more emphasis put on the spider part of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which isn't done as much these days. I mean, back to just the suit, though. It is just pretty much verbatim what Spider-Man looks like today. The only thing that really changes with the suit is the spider emblem and the eye shape.
Yeah, let me just throw it out there. I know there's some defenders of there's only like a couple people defending it. The blue symbol on the back just doesn't work. Changed for the better.
Yeah, the blue symbol isn't the best. It fucks with the color balance because there's nothing. It's even more daunting when you realize that the suit was originally black. So it's black. It's not even like blue and then blue on blue. It's black, red, white, and then just a random blue spider emblem on the back. It's very weird. Their choices in colors, purple gloves, were questionable back in the day.
Also, I do not like how crowded the webbing pattern is. This is more a modern thing than it. Well, actually, it's not even that much of a modern thing. Later, it actually, it was quite a few issues before they introduced the more kind of modern-looking Spider-Man, but this webbing right here is just very crowded. It clutters up the design just a little bit.
I think it's just because it's such a. Not only are the webs like really like. I don't really know how you describe it. They're a little tacky looking, you know, like they're not refined. It's not refined webbing.
Yeah. It's probably due to these people being overworked as shit, but also the webbing pattern is just very inconsistent. Like, you can see in this one picture I'll pull up on screen, like, look at where he's holding the guy. Notice how the webbing pattern is reversed, so you have the ridges on the top going up, and then the ones on the bottom are going in a reverse pattern. That doesn't happen in any other panel in that comic.
Yeah, you can tell they kind of just. I think that's why it looks bad, just because they kind of phoned it in when it came. I think they just kind of.
Also, pupils in only that panel.
I don't know. I always wondered when I saw this picture, is like, are those supposed to be eye holes, like Party City ass eye holes? Maybe they are. Maybe he had eye holes back then. Also,
if you'll notice, this is something that also disappears. His the black part of the suit, right, or the sides of the. Notice how they go way up on his shoulders, almost to the top of his shoulders.
Yeah.
This again, it's his first. It's his debut. You know, we can forgive it, but this first design is very. Not rushed, that's not a fair thing to say. It's very unrefined, which is to be expected. Also,
I mean, to be fair, I don't think I kind of attribute the roughness of the way he looks in these panels to be just the artists probably aren't trying. Maybe they're trying, but like they I don't know if they're on a time limit or whatever, but they're probably just kind of phoning it in a bit, because I feel like the cover image is kind of what they're supposed to look like, and this cover image of him is really, it's I have no problems with this suit. And yeah, I know we haven't talked about it yet. The web wings.
Oh, the web wings are sick as hell.
They. I never read. I don't think I've ever read. I've seen. I think these comics were in the old TASM game, the Xbox 360 TASM tie-in movie game. I think you could pick up web pages in that game, and you could read some of these original comics in them. That's the only time I've ever consumed these comics, is in that game when I got all the comic pages and stuff and read some of them. I don't know if he ever uses the web wings to actually glide or anything like that, or if they're just there sheerly for aesthetic purposes. Regardless,
it's kind of like a Deus Ex Machina, where if the writer remembers he has them, then yeah, he'll use them.
I think the web wings are sick. I can understand why they omitted them.
Yeah.
Not only maybe perhaps to reduce clutter of the outfit, because there's just already a lot of webs going on the suit already. Adding web wings that have the same kind of webbing going on, it makes it very busy. But also, if you have web wings and you can glide everywhere, why would you? Like, it kind of removes the novelty of web swinging. It removes it as like his central focus of traversal, and gives him like something else, which is it removes the point of the web shooters, because you never have to. The reason web shooters people prefer web shooters is because it gives him stakes, quote unquote. He can run out of webs.
To be fair, I will say, I understand why they're there as it's a backfalling thing, right? Because back then, oh dear, if you don't remember, his web fluid would run out in like 10 swings. That's what it felt like. This man runs out of web fluid so unreasonably fast, it's not even funny.
To be honest, I think it's reasonably fast, given how small those web shooters are. It's somewhat real. I guess they tried to be somewhat realistic about it, because something that small should realistically not be able to shoot several meters.
At that point, though, you just gotta invent something else. If you're putting yourself in danger after 10 swings, it's unbelievably sad.
Buddy, at that point, I'd just start developing I'd reverse bioengineer another radioactive spider that'll give me fucking webs, because I'd be pissed off that the only power I didn't get was webs. If I were Spider-Man, I would be heated. You gave me everything but the webs, buddy. Fuck you.
You find the original spider, fucking corner it in an alley. You put it in a box. You put it in a box and refuse to let it out until it bites you a second time. And then it's really unfortunate when it bites you and you mutate into a nasty fuck-ass Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it just gives me 50 types of diseases this time. I got lucky the first time to get powers from it, instead of actual nuclear cancer.
Yeah, I like how... like, this Spider-Man feels like the weirdo that, reasonably so New Yorkers were freaked out about, but also it does feel like he's missing. Again, it's his debut suit, so it's not. I'm not faulting this design in any way, but it is missing his friendliness. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's his whole shtick now. It is missing it just a bit.
Yeah, I do think that this version of Spider-Man was a little more selfish, but. I guess that was just more part of the time. Maybe this was seen as friendly back then. I don't know. Because I feel like people were a little meaner back then, to be honest.
True. Overall thoughts, let's go ahead and try and wrap this up. It's not a bad design by any means. The fact that they got this close to basically what Spider-Man looks like now is a miracle by all means. Like, if you look at this original cover, it's basically what Spider-Man looks like. If you saw this original cover in a comic today, you would not bat a second eye that, yeah, that's just Spider-Man.
It's just Spider-Man, yeah. Again, so much inconsistency with these old comics when it comes to the artwork, that it's hard to get a pin on what it's supposed to look like, but I take it that the cover picture is what it's supposed to look like all the time. And that's just Spider-Man to me. Whenever I think of Spider-Man, this is Spider-Man hardly ever strays any further from this. And if he does, it's like the most minor of changes to like the eye size, the spider's shape, and the color, the shade of blue and red that they use. That's about the only thing that changes.
My score will be taking in, because I looked through the original comic multiple times while I was doing the drawing for this, so I have to knock off like some points for inconsistency, but it's still like the cover alone. It's just so, it's so good. This is an 8 for me.
I'd be willing to give it like an 8.5, just because it's just Spider-Man. I do think that it gets better later.
You mean it gets worse because he's a menace, right? That's what the news tells me. That's what that guy, Jameson, that's what he told me. And of course I believe him.